Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys, based on the time zones you all are coming from. So, guys, before we start with the session, can you all please give me a quick confirmation if you all can see my screen and hear me loud and clear as well? Perfect. Thank you for the confirmation, everyone. So, before we get started, let me quickly introduce myself to you all first. My name is Neeraj Keria, and I've been working in the IT industry for more than 13 years now. Let me share the Edureka Masterclass community with you all as well. So this community of masterclasses was started back in 2019, and since then we have been closing into more than 30,000 members so far. And in these masterclasses, we conduct multiple webinars and live events on different topics, including blockchain, IoT, artificial intelligence, machine learning, on big data, and multiple front-end and back-end development frameworks. And the best part about these webinars are they are absolutely free of cost, so there are no charges involved here. So to be a part of this group, we only have to click on join this group and we will be getting notified with the schedule that we have planned for the month so that we can join accordingly. So the main agenda for today's session, we have gathered for our discussion on Power BI dashboard. So here we are going to discuss on why exactly we need to visualize data, what is data visualization, and then we are going to discuss on the introduction to Power BI and the data visualization using Power BI. If the time allows, then we are going to see the hands-on as well. Need. Now, why exactly we need to visualize data? Because unless we are having a good insight about the data that we have the access, we won't be able to work accordingly. For example, let's say here until we don't know what exactly the pattern has been in a given data set, so we'll not be able to make sense. And again, if we are not going to make sense, then there's no use of that data for us, right? So that's why data needs to be processed, data needs to be analyzed, and then we have to present that data visually so that we can get a good insight and we can take some we can get a good insight on what kind of decisions we have to make both in terms of operations and marketing strategies to work efficiently with the data sets. And data visualization, no, when we are trying to visualize data, it simply allows us to quickly interpret the data and adjust different variables to see their effect. Now, what exactly data visualization is? So basically, it's a presentation of data in the pictorial or graphical format. Let's say we have a data for past sales record for any e-commerce store for past 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, and now we want to find out what exactly the profit distribution has been in last 3 years, and which month have been the most profitable, which month have been the least profitable, and how the profit has been distributed among different subcategories. So instead of getting a table for the same, in if we do get a report in terms of getting a good reports in terms of the bar graphs, pie charts, the line graphs, the box plot graph, then we will be able to get a good insight and have an actual presentation of what the situation is so that that can be presented back to stakeholders to take the decision on. And Power BI is one of the most popular BI tools. BI means business intelligence. So Power BI allows us to create reports, create visual reports of any data set. Now we can integrate any data set which may be originating from any local file or any databases or any third-party applications. Like we have Adobe Analytics, we have Marketo, we have our own website. So we can pull data from any given data source and then we can create the visual reports out of it. And then we can present that report, we can share the report with anyone we want. So it helps us in getting the aggregation, analyzing, visualizing the data set, and sharing the entire data once it has been readily available. So in terms of Power BI, we have the support for bar charts, for column chart, line charts, and area charts, combination charts, pie chart, donut chart, and tree maps. And then we also get support for funnel charts, for gauge and for cards, and tables and matrices. So we have different types of visuals available, and we can choose what kind of visual matches our requirement so that we can use that visual for presenting the data, or we can say for solving the problem statement that we have been given working as a BI developer. So we have different types of data available. Like we have the stack bar and the column charts where we can use it to break down and compare parts of a whole. So before we see these, let's see how we can install Power BI locally. So for that, we have to go ahead and look for Power BI Community Edition download. So we have something called as Power BI Desktop, which is basically offered on a Community Edition pass. That means we can download it for free. There is no licensing involved there. So we do have two versions, Power BI Desktop free version, and then we have the Enterprise Edition. So if you want to use the Enterprise level Power BI with having some advanced features, then we have to go ahead and subscribe to its Pro plan. Else we can start with for free. So this is available as a App Store application that we can go ahead and download directly from the App Store available for our Windows platform. And once we have got the access, so here we can simply click on try for free. We have to log in via our work email. So personal email addresses are not allowed. We have to use our work email. So we can use this link to get the access. And once we sign up, and then we can go ahead and download this. And once we download, we can go ahead and open it up. So here we can search for Power BI. So Power BI is currently installed as a desktop application. So we also have Power BI service, which allows us to see the report and create some quick visuals. But the main tools are available in Power BI desktop that we have to work with. So let's open it up. So this is the dashboard. This is a home dashboard for Power BI that we are looking at. Now, once we are into the dashboard, we have to go ahead and create a visual report out of it. So for example, all right, so here we have the dashboard. So first of all, before we can get started creating a report, we have to import a data set. So for importing data, we can click on this option which says get data. And here we can choose what is the data source that we have to focus on. So here we can choose Excel. Or we can, if we have a data in our Excel file locally, then we can choose Excel. If we have data stored in CSV, in web data format, in blank query, or in the SQL Server, or if we want to see more data sources, we can click on more. And here we can see here we have the access to multiple data sources. Like we can go ahead for file. We can get now if we have a local file available in the format of CSV or the Excel file, then we can choose these available data formats. If we have the data stored in any specific data set, for example, we have the data stored in MySQL, in Postgres, Sysbase, Teradata, Amazon Redshift being a data warehousing service, or SQL Server database, then we can choose data from these different sources. We can choose the Power Platform where we can have the Power BI data sets. We can choose from Azure, since this is offered by Microsoft, so we are having the entire access to all the Azure database services, starting from the Azure SQL data warehouse, analysis service database, blob storage, table storage, and data lake that we can directly get connected to. So we have some in Power BI, we have something called as direct query. That means, let's say when we are working with large data sets, for example, we have terabytes, we have petabytes of data, and so it is not going to be feasible to bring that data locally, right? So we can use direct query available by Power BI so that we can perform the operations, we can create dashboards, reports from the data without pulling the data locally. All right. So here we can choose from any given data sources. Let's say here we can go ahead with all. Let's say for now we can choose Excel file, click on connect. Here we can choose any given data sources. For example, let's say we have data. Let's say here we have data available for a sample global superstore order. So here we can choose that. Click on open. Here we can choose data formats to be orders. Here we can choose from any given data sources. And now here we can see a sample preview of the data that we have the access to. If you want to work on transforming the data, we can click on transform data. So this is going to open Power Query. So using Power Query, we can make changes to any data that we are going to import. Let's say here we have in this file, we have row ID, order date, shipment mode, customer ID, customer name, the segment. Then we have details such as postal code, city, state, country, region, market. Then we have category, subcategory, product name, the sales, quantity, discount, profit, shipping costs. We have these details available in this current sheet. Now, let's say we want to perform some changes. We want to apply feature engineering to this current data set. We can do that. If we want to drop some columns which are of no use, let's say here we have row ID. Now, row ID is of no use to us, and this is only increasing the weight of the file. So if you want, we can drop this column as well. Let's say here we want to remove this column. we can go ahead and remove the column. And then once we are done, we can click on close and apply. So this is going to apply whatever changes on data set, and then it is going to be imported in Power BI, and then we can create reports out of it. So once the data has been imported, we would be able to see those data pointers available in the sidebar. In the right sidebar, we can see here under orders, we have category, city, country, order date, postal code, quality, region. So these all are different data pointers available. So now if you want to create a report, so this is the canvas where we can start creating reports. Let's say we want to show the reports for the profit and the timeline in which the profit has been recorded. So here we can choose order date. Now for every single report that we are going to create, we have different type of visuals that we can make use of. Let's say here we have the bar graph, right? So here we have a clustered column chart. If you want to present this in terms of a clustered row chart, so here we can choose row, or here we can choose the column chart depending upon the requirement. Then we also have visuals such as line graph. We can convert this line graph to any other visual we want. For example, let's say our goal here is to find out the profit distribution across different years. So from this plain line, we can see there has been an equal distribution of profit, and the profit has been gradually increasing on a per year basis. But if you want to dive deeper, which months have been more profitable as compared to other months? So in order date, we have multiple other pointers available. Like we have data for year, quarter, month, and day. So if you want to see the performance in terms of different quarters, so here we can see the performance in terms of quarter one, quarter two, three, and four. And this has been collectively. So as you can see here, we are seeing the collective results. That means the performance of different quarters for 4 years of data that we have the access to. And then let's say here we want to see the performance not in terms of quarters, but in terms of months. So now we can see we are seeing a different picture altogether. So in terms of months, we don't see any profit, much profit from January to February, but again, there is an increase. Again, there's a downfall. Again, there's a steep increase from April to almost June. And then from June to July, there has been almost 80% drop in profits. Again, we saw a steep increase in profit in the month of August, and then it simply keeps going on and off from that point onwards. And let's say we want to visualize, okay, this is collective results. That means we have data for 4 years, and this is the report generated for all 4 years. And now if we want to customize this, we have to go ahead and pull year, and we can choose year to be put into legend field. So if we choose year to be put in legend, now if we put year in as a part of legend, then we can see we have data for 4 years, and they all have been represented by using different graphs here. As you can see here, we have data for 2012, 13, 14, and 15. And now we can see we can have a better insight of how the profit has been distributed for different years here. In terms of different years, in terms of 2012, 13, 14, 15, how they have been distributed. And now let's say here we want to dive deeper. So here, whenever we hover over any of the elements, we can see a small legend as a small overlay. So we can see the actual sales figure, actual profit recorded at this point for all these 4 years, as you can see here, right? And next we can create now here, if you want, we can have the access to two different reports. For example, we can create a multi-page report as well. So for adding additional pages, we can click on new page, and then we can define the page type. For example, let's say here we want to create a report showcasing the shipment mode and the profit recorded in different shipment modes. And then we want to present this, let's say, as a donut chart, as a donut. So here we have a donut mode available. So here we can even drag and drop, and again, here we can choose how exactly we have to create multiple reports. We can add multiple visuals here. Let's say here we want to showcase the profit in terms of different subcategories as well. Like we have subcategories. So here, let's say we want to show it as a part of pie chart. So here we can choose. Here we have profit by shipment mode, profit by subcategories, and suppose here we want to use a different visual altogether. Here we want to use a simple plot graph here. So here we can choose any other visual which matches our requirement. We want to use a tree map, we can use a tree map as well. So it all comes down to what kind of visuals matches our requirement, and then we can present them accordingly. All right. Let's say here we want to keep it as a pie chart only. Now in this page, we want to showcase only profit. So now we want to show the profit based on different segments as well. So how it has been divided in terms of segments. So here we have three segments. So let's say here we want to use a tree map. So you can see the main segment has been consumer, then corporate, and then office. And now we want to showcase the profit based on the, I suppose, based on the, here we have regions. Here we can showcase how the profit has been recorded for different regions that we can visualize. Again, we have different ways of plotting this graph as well. So depending upon how we want to plot it, we can choose the type of visual that we want to create. All right. So here we can choose profit, and let's suppose here we have some kind of geographical data sets, and here we can also choose to show the entire results in terms of a same as a bar graph, or we can also plot this on top of a map as well. So let's say here we want to plot this on a map. So here we can choose the profit. Here we can choose cities. If you wanted to showcase a profit that we have recorded in different cities. So this is a geospatial data that we can easily present by using a map section. So we have a map, so we can choose profit and cities, and then this data is going to be presented visually on top of a map itself. All right. So here we can see here we have now currently the map is going to get populated. And now if you want to apply multiple filters, we can apply filters as well. Let's say here we want to see the report for those cities where we have actually sent, for example, we want to categorize them based on subcategories. So here we can add subcategories as a filters on this page. If you want to see the report only for accessories, not for every other product. So here we can customize them to accessories only. That means the report, how the sales has been divided to different accessories here. If you want to see the report not for all cities, but we want to be selective. So here we can choose if you want to see the report only for, let's say only for, okay, let's do one thing. In cities, we can add filters for region. So here we can add region as a filter for this page. And now we want to see the results only for Canada. So here only cities are currently being represented. We want to see the report only not for Canada, but again for central US. And we can choose central US. And now we can see the reports only for central US have been represented. And it is going to be a complete interactive report that we can generate. And now if you want, let's say we have this kind of report created, then we want to export this report to be shared with anyone else. And now we can choose two methods of export. We can either choose the methods. Here we have this report. Now we want that this particular report should be exported. So what we can do, we can click on first of all file, and if you want to present this report in the format of a PDF document. Now, PDF document is not going to be interactive. It is going to be simple, plain graphics based on the reports that we have presented, and that can be used to take out a print and then present them visually. So I can see a PDF report has been generated, which contains the graphical elements of the current report that we have generated, as you can see here, right? And now we want to make this as a part of interactive dashboard. So here we can go back, we can choose a file, and let's say here we want to publish this. So here we can either go ahead and click on publish from the file option, or we have a direct publish option available here. So for publishing the report, first of all, we have to save it. We can save it as suppose demo report, and then we can log in. So before we can publish this, we have to log in into our account. So we can log in by using our own account that from which we have started using this platform. So we can log in, and once we log in, we would be able to publish this directly to Power BI service. So here we had to set up the password, and then we would be able to publish this to Power BI service, and then this report is going to be available there. We can use Power BI service to even generate a QR code, which is going to help us in distributing the QR code to anyone. So here we can choose a workspace to which we want to export this. And once this has been published, we would be able to start using it. Let's wait for a moment. So basically this publishes the report to Power BI service. And this is then going to be opened up in the browser. And then we can choose how exactly we want to share this further. So if we want to generate a shareable report, then this is going to be used. We only need to sign up by using our work email. Personal email addresses like Gmail, Hotmail, these are not allowed. So here we can click on demo report, and this is going to open this report in Power BI service. If we have logged in, then this is going to be opened up directly. And then we can see whatever we have done in the report. If we want to customize it further, we can do that in Power BI service. And then once we are done, we can click on generate report, and this is going to be not generate, but again, we can publish report further on by the team members. Now we can share this with team members, or we can share this with anyone by generating a QR code. So here we have the report. And now if you want to share this further, we can first of all click on this option which says share, and here we can share the report to mail. So this is currently available, report and embedding report to any of the website. For example, we want to embed this report with to any of the application that we have. Let's say a mobile application or a desktop dashboard that we have created. So we have to embed that. Or we can generate a QR code. So here we can click on generate a QR code. And this QR code can be shared with anyone. And once they scan the QR code, they have to log in to their Power BI dashboard, and then they can get the access. And the process we have seen just now, we can create a PDF report, or we can simply generate the report and publish it across. We can use this with web apps if we have a pro version. If we want to embed this report, we have to click on publish to web, and then we have to make sure that our admin has given us that access, and that can be given only in the pro account. All right. And Tableau has been the most conventional platform capable of handling, we can say, a large amount of data set as compared to Power BI. Thank you so much for joining, and have a great day ahead. Take care. Bye bye.